list because everybody's paying attention to something maybe
Ethan,
a little different than the other.
Ethan.
Yep, I got you.
All right, you got me? All right, good deal. All right. All right, well, I'm going to keep the headset on, okay, and then we'll just go from there. Like I said, if something doesn't sound right on your end, just text me.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let's see. All right, there we go. All right, loud and clear.
I hear you loud and clear.
All right, well, you know the drill. We'll go from there. I don't know if Ronnie will be here when we start or not, but I can handle it.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Good. I've checked everything with Ethan. Ethan's doing great, so we'll be on shortly.
What's the difference between a house and a home? A house is somewhere you live. A home is somewhere you start a family, make memories, or continue family traditions. At GMFS Mortgage, we make home happen. And our tradition is to help our clients from start to finish, whether you're ready to buy, build, renovate, or refinance. For more information, check out gmfsmortgage.com. That's gmfsmortgage.com. For GMFS Mortgage, where we make home happen.
GMFS LLC, NMLS 6497, is legal Suite 208, Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70435. Loan applications are subject to credit and property approval.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certification. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard, aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take with multiple engine options and impressive towing, while Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability, making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Men, not feeling like yourself in the bedroom or in life? It might be low T or ED. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness provides private, effective treatment designed for real results. Pricing starts at $125 a month with no long-term contracts. Handle it at yourgoodwood.com.
Like most of you, I don't like billboards, and that's why I don't have any. If you've been injured and the insurance company isn't treating you right, I'm Spencer Callahan, and I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323. LA 2620484, office in Baton Rouge.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. This is Sports Shorts Radio. It's the fastest 2 hours on the radio, covering it all from the Fighting Tigers of LSU to the tracks of NASCAR on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now, here's Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Krysan, and Hunter McCann.
And welcome, everyone. Ronnie Rantz, TK with you here over at the Bruley Walk-Ons on this gorgeous Saturday morning. Hope everybody is having a good one over in Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge. We are on the west side of Baton Rouge at the Bruley Walk-Ons. We'll be here till noon today. Bruley Walk-Ons, probably one of my favorite spots to eat, man. They do such a great job, a great management team and everything. It's about 5 to 10 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge. Bam, just pop across the bridge, and right across from Bruley High School is the Bruley Walk-Ons. And it's the only Walk-Ons with a mural of yours truly on the opposite side of the wall from Alex Bregman.
Well, no, there's a lot of legendary, famous, I don't know, celebrity.
Infamous.
I could throw a few words in there, but no, but you're up there, and,
Yeah.
and your autograph's up there too.
Yeah.
Some people need to get a little. I'll tell you what, if you come into Walk-Ons in Bruley, you take a picture of Ronnie's autograph of his picture on the big mural wall, kind of in the back left corner of the place. Send it to Sports Shorts. Send it to Ronnie. And we'll buy you next cold pop.
Absolutely, and also bring it by Woodenhaven Furniture Company on Government Street. Joel will give you 15% off if you show him
no
the
doubt.
picture that you went to the Bruley Walk-Ons.
Ronnie, we
Took
got
my
to start
photo.
the show today, and you and I didn't discuss what I'm about to say, with about 2,255 people at Pete Goolsbee Field last night. Many thanks to all the fans. Many thanks to USSSA. Many thanks to families of the players, and many thanks to Acadiana Cane Cutters. What a night. We had 3-camera stream going. We had, Josh Pusha was great on the PA. All the interns did a great job. What a night. That, like you made a comment to me a few minutes ago. That's kind of what you had in mind a little over 5 years ago when you said, hey, I'm going to buy the Rougarou.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Tom. I can't thank everyone enough. I mean, it was really a dream come true type of evening. Pete Goolsbee Field was opened in 1956. It was
70 years ago.
It was built, and they had an Evangeline League baseball team that played there, the Red Stickers, the first year of its existence. Then another team actually came in after them like a year later, and that lasted a year. Southern University played there off and on for many decades until they had their own ballpark built in 1992. And, a lot of high school games over the years, big high school games in the area have been played at Pete Goolsbee Field. And then, of course, in 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, Baton Rouge Community College started its baseball program, and that's been their home ballpark ever since. And there's been moments. They had the Blue Marlins independent baseball team that played a couple of seasons there. They had the River Bats played a couple of seasons there. I think the Marlins did 1 year and the River Bats did 2. They won 2 championships in the 3 years there. This was back in 2001, 2002, 3, something like that. Independent baseball. Ted Williams' son, actually, the great Ted Williams, his son played for the Marlins. So they've had some moments over the 70 plus years of history or whatever, but never have they had a crowd as big as last night. They had 2,255 people in that ballpark last night. And for the Rougarou, the largest crowd we ever had was the championship game last year when we had 749 people. And that
basically tripled.
Basically tripled it. And, it was as magical. And special thanks to Lane Petrie and USSSA. We wouldn't have done it without them. They had their Rec League World Series was in town, and they gave out the awards for some of their skills competition people, and then they did a parade of teams. Unfortunately, there were a lot of teams not there because there was some still playing. They had rain in the area,
earlier,
pushed back their schedule at ballparks around Baton Rouge, and so a A number of teams never made it, but we had a massive crowd and it was a great atmosphere. And at the end of the day, Rougarou got a win. And special thanks to Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Eric Lane was in the house. We popped fireworks like we do every Friday at 9:00, and it was awesome night.
Well, we're at the Bruley Walk-Ons, and I'm not going to be able to name every team, but there were several West Side All-Stars.
Yeah, there were West Side
from
All-Stars
over here on the West Bank, the West Side, the best side as they call it.
Right.
Even had a couple of teams from my hometown, St. Bernard Parish down there,
and my old playground, Lakeview.
Yeah, Lakeview, the Lakeview Vikings, and then you had all over Louisiana, some Alabama teams, or Mississippi. I mean, it was truly exciting to see so many people out there, and they were into the game.
Right,
they were supporting the Rougarou. Rougarou played a really good game, and I think it's only the second game this year that neither team had an error.
Oh wow!
So you go with Acadiana Cane Cutters played some really good baseball, and it was a 2-0 game for a while. Big home run by Cummins, and the fact that Rougarou only had 2 hits but won 6-0.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, Patrick Wright and I talked about the line score. I said this is a little bit of an odd line score, but the bottom line, the Rougarou won. And again, many thanks to all the sponsors of the Rougarou, all the fans, the players, the Acadiana Cane Cutters. And, I mean, it just was a special night that we'll remember forever. And, Ronnie, you talk about Goldsby Field. I pitched in that field because that was Southern's home field when I was at Southeastern. I've coached on that field. I've done radio. Right. I've done TV. I've done a lot of things at Pete Goldsby over the years. So that is kind of a cool place for me to go to watch a Rougarou game and whatnot, and what a ballpark, and so many people, and it was great. Concession stand was a line. I mean, merchandise was flying off the shelf. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah, and we got lucky too, man, because I think the big man upstairs was looking out for us because they had rain spots in different parts of town. Never rained a drop at Goldsby, and we did have the field tarp before the game just in case, and never needed it. And it wound up being a magical night. Everything went smoothly.
And we could talk about it now because it's Saturday morning. But on Wednesday, when I was looking ahead to the Friday and even Thursday, and I'm like you and Casey, and we all looking at the weather thing about every 20 minutes or more often, I was thinking, man, I hope this don't. And then I think as early as Friday morning, there was supposed to be a lot of rain from like 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Right.
I'm like, okay, we'll be all right by game time.
Right.
And open the gates a little early because of the USSSA night yesterday. Normally they open at 6 p.m. And the baseball gods took care, as Skip would say.
Right.
The baseball gods were looking out for the Rougarou, the Cane Cutters, and the Texas Collegiate League.
Well, tonight, the Baton Rouge will travel to Lafayette, to Youngsville, technically Fabacher Field. So the Rougarou and Cane Cutters will resume their series tonight, 7 o'clock. You can, of course, watch it on TexasCollegiateLeague.com, TexasCollegiateLeague.com, or
I got it up on the screen for those watching.
Yeah, go to the ballpark tonight in Lafayette, and then we'll be back at it home game Sunday night, 7 o'clock at Pete Goldsby Field. The Rougarou will be back in action. And by the way, the Texas Collegiate League, it's a summer college wood bat baseball league. The difference between second place and seventh place is 2 games. It's only 8 teams in the league. Second place and seventh place overall record for the whole year is separated by 2 games. That's amazing at this point in the season.
Well, and another thing about the Texas Collegiate League, you've said this, many have, it's all about pitching. And this week, the Rougarou have got 3 of the best pitching performances, maybe 4 if you count Collins getting before he came out at Acadiana on Thursday night. Almost Fabian Hernandez, who was the pitcher of the year last year on the championship team with the Rougarou. But Michael Sutton and Jack Jordan with crazy circumstances, with losing a friend in a boating accident.
Thomas Collins had a great
Collins, even though Rougarou ended up losing that game, Cane Cutters got a pair in the bottom of the 8th. And then last night, Larson Faba, who's a Southeastern Lion, he was just unbelievable.
How many innings did he go?
6.
He went 6 also, 6 shutouts.
And he got the win. So, it just was a good baseball game. And I'll tell you what, LaCava, the center fielder for Acadiana, I know you weren't glued to every pitch like I was. He made 3 of the nicest catches I've seen all summer. That dude can run. If you hit it in the air anywhere near center, he's going to run it down.
Shaw graduated. He played at Nunez, and then this past year was on the Raging Cajun roster.
On the air last night, I said that you should, if you're in Fabacher Field tomorrow night, he's worth the price of admission to watch him play center field. You know, and so it was cool.
Yeah. We were over here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. All right, so from Texas Collegiate League Baseball to MLB Baseball, the most exciting All-Star game of the year is coming up on Tuesday night. They will finish this weekend, you know, playing their regular season games.
Sunday.
And then Monday they'll have the Home Run Derby. Tuesday they'll have the
In
All-Star
Philadelphia.
game. And Bryce Harper is in the Home Run Derby.
So is Kyle Schwarber.
Oh, nice.
Late edition, Kyle Schwarber.
That's good.
And that's good. The Philly fans will go nuts.
Yeah, place to be
5
packed.
Phillies are on the All-Star roster. So, you know, not Aaron Nola, but 5 others are.
So we say this every year, and it just seems to get more obvious as time passes by. You can't even mention the NFL anymore. As far as All-Star games go, whether it be hockey, whether it be basketball, whether it be baseball, because, again, I'm not even mentioning Pro Bowl. They don't even have a game anymore. They just play a bunch of carnival games. But there's no doubt that the baseball is the daddy. I mean, it's the one.
And a little glitter coming off this year because Ohtani, who's got a lower leg injury and it will not even go to Philadelphia.
Okay.
So he's not even going to go out there and wave, okay? And then tomorrow, Paul Skeens from LSU, obviously, and then Mizorowski, who's the hardest thrower in MLB for the Milwaukee Brewers, who have a really good team. They pitch against each other tomorrow. So neither of those are going to throw Tuesday night. No Ohtani, no Skeens, although Skeens has had a couple of rough outings lately. Mizorowski, but still, I think the Philadelphia flavor with the Phillies in it, it's still going to be pretty cool. And they have gone back to wearing the team uniforms.
Right.
Something you and I have talked about for 10 years,
Right.
like get rid of that whatever, okay? And so it's going to be cool. I always look forward to the All-Star game, and I'll do that Tuesday night.
Yeah, I'm really excited about them wearing their own uniforms. I mean, I just love all the different unis represented. And then it used to be, you know, they still have the rule where you have to have one player, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's big, right? No matter how bad your team is, you're going to at least have one guy. And, I mean, you know, it's not maybe the juice that it used to be when there was 3 TV channels or 4 TV channels back in the day. But when they would, you know, do the lineups and they would pan, you know, they would – and the rest of the roster, you know, and it'd be, you know, reliever from the Minnesota Twins. And if you're a Minnesota fan, you'd be like, yeah, that's my guy. You know, like it meant something. It was awesome. So I'm really cool that they brought back that tradition.
Yeah, that's really cool. So that's going to be fun, you know. So we go from Rougarou to MLB. And, you know, one other thing we can mention, Ronnie, Jake Latz, who had a brief LSU appearance, 8 1/3 back in 2016, transferred to Kent State, got hurt. He's an all-star who's had a brilliant year as a relief pitcher. He's a lefty for the Texas Rangers, my team. Latz is also an all-star and will probably pitch because they're going to throw 7, 8, or 9 guys on each team.
The Jake Latz story. So he's out of Illinois. He and Michael Papierski, I think were high school teammates, Tommy. I think they went to the same high school. And they signed, you know, with LSU. And, of course, Michael Papierski was a switch-hitting catcher, very good defensive catcher, and had a nice, long pro career. He's now retired. He lives in Baton Rouge and making this area his home, even though he's from Illinois. He married, you know, from down here. I think he just had a baby, or she's pregnant, or they just had a baby, something like that. So, good dude. So, anyway, Michael Papierski ended up playing for me with the Marucci White Sox, and Jake Latz was supposed to play. This is the summer between their senior year in high school and their freshman year in college. And I had a number of players over the years, everybody from Antoine Duplantis to Kate Savick to Mark Laird, Andrew Stevenson, et cetera, that had played for me with that during that time, the Marucci White Sox. And Latz never came because he had an arm injury. And that arm injury lingered throughout his entire college career. And to the point where this guy who was super highly thought of out of high school, like Jake Latz, had he been healthy, maybe he doesn't go to college, right? Or had he been healthy, it would have been one of the best pitchers to play at LSU.
It would have threw a whole lot more than 8 innings.
Absolutely. But he had troubles at the end of high school. He had troubles at LSU, troubles at Kent State, and was sort of just a forgotten footnote. I mean, as you mentioned, 8 innings he pitched while he was in Baton Rouge. But the dude was a big-time recruit. And in modern medicine, it got healthy, got the treatment, got the surgeries, probably would have been done for 20, 30, 40 years ago. But nowadays has the ability to stick around, got healthy, and here he is in the All-Star game, the Major League Baseball All-Star game. It is a tremendous story. Think about it. 10 years ago, he was almost a forgotten figure. And so here he is today. I mean, that's awesome.
It may have helped him back then if he'd had some River of Life capsules, right? And, because I'm a big fan of them. Took my River of Life capsules this morning and riveroflifecapsules.com. Got that up on the screen. And I know you're a fan. Hunter, Derry Beckwith, Joel Davis. Everybody's a fan, right?
Yeah, riveroflifecapsules.com. You hear us talk about it for a long time. And if you're wondering what it is, go to riveroflifecapsules.com, check it all out. You can also set up an initial consultation with the gang over the phone, in person at their office off Suma, right by Our Lady of the Lake Hospital in Baton Rouge. And you can see what it'll do for your body. If you've got aches, if you've got pains, if you've got inflammation, if you've got arthritis, if you're that guy that makes that noise, like when you get up out of your chair to go to the fridge to get a cold pop and you make that noise, then you need to be a River of Life Capsules.com patient. Like, I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you that if you make the noise, call River of Life Capsules.com. You'll see the results, immediately. And it's less than $40 a month. You can get a bottle. You can try whether it's one pill a day, whether it's two. You take it as needed. I mean, it's up to you, but it's worth it. They've upgraded River of Life to have even more powerful formula in it. It's all natural ingredients. It's more pain relief than ever before. It's new and improved because they keep getting feedback from their thousands of patients, and they tweak it just a little bit. It's rooted in tradition, proven by science. It has all these natural ingredients that have positive side effects, not negative side effects. Riveroflifecapsules.com. We'll hear from Patrick Scallon in about an hour from now, and he'll tell you more about it. But riveroflifecapsules.com, give it a try today. Derry Beckwith's got knee surgery. He's used it during football season. Helps him walk around pain-free. It'll help you too. Riveroflifecapsules.com.
We're at the walk-ons in Bruley. They'll open the doors at 11 o'clock here. All the staff is getting everything ready right now. So stop by here at 11 o'clock and tell us hello, and check out Ronnie's picture on the wall.
And we'll tell you more about World Cup. We'll talk about the World Cup when we return. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts will continue right after this.
This is Sports Shorts Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Ronnie Rantz alongside Tommy Krysan over here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. The doors open at 11 o'clock here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. Just about 10 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge, right across the Mississippi River Bridge. If you're coming from Lafayette or Lake Charles, right when you get to the base of the bridge, just take Highway 1 South. It's right down on the right-hand side past right by Bruley High School. They do a fantastic job over here. Great place to catch all the action. And, of course, one of the things that you can catch is the World Cup. Ole, 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 ole. The big boys are in it. Like all these feel-good stories are going by the wayside, and now we're getting down to the nut cutting time. And you got who you thought would be there, right? You got Spain and France going to be facing off in one semifinal. That was kind of thought to be expected, and when the brackets came out, and that is going to be massive on Tuesday. Spain and France will be going at 2 o'clock Central Time. I mean, that is like in Europe, unbelievable, right? But you have a chance at another unbelievable one if some things go to form. You've got England playing today. Who's England taking on, Tommy?
I'm looking at it right now. England and Norway play at 4 o'clock.
And Norway's
today.
been an unbelievable story. That's going to be a tough match.
England's a slight favorite.
Yeah, England, that's a coin flip.
8 o'clock tonight, Argentina, a decent favorite against Switzerland.
Right. If we can get England and Argentina, that
France
would be
and
something
Spain
else.
will play Tuesday. That's going
Right.
to be huge. Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
France and Spain, I mean, that is going to be massive. But look, can we get Messi in there going for back-to-back World Cups? He has been the story of the entire deal. But I mean, whoever wins out of Norway and England is going to be awesome. But I need Argentina. I need Messi to win today. It's going to be a challenge, no question about it, against Switzerland. They've been playing really, really well. But if you got Switzerland and Norway, that doesn't quite have the juice that England and Argentina do. Could you imagine a Final Four, England and Argentina, France and Spain? That is going to be some tremendous ratings, but we shall see.
Yeah, World Cup, most popular event in the world.
Look,
more important than some other countries.
You've made
in
no bones
US.
about it. You're not a soccer fan. But through this process with the World Cup being in the United States and you being forced to pay attention a little bit more than maybe you have in the past, has it changed anything for you?
A little bit. I mean, I watched the Belgium match, and the U.S. got kind of beat pretty bad.
It's a shame that that's the one you watched.
Yeah, I
from start
know,
to finish.
but I did watch it, and even when it was 3-1, I didn't turn it off.
Right.
Although one of the guys was watching me and said, "That's like 35-7 in football. They're probably not coming back." Okay,
Right.
And then like you made the comment on Sports Shorts Friday that how Tom Brady made the analogy that was bigger than one of the other matches had a bigger comeback than when they came back from down 28-3 to Todd McClure's Falcons.
Yeah, that was the Argentina come from behind victory the other day when they were down 2-0 in the 77th minute or something of the game. You only played 90 minutes plus extra time, and they scored 3 goals and went 3-2 to get to the semis. So for me, I'll tell you my World Cup history. So in 1994, the World Cup was in the United States. And that was the first time that John Cicada opened up. That's how long ago it was.
Ooh.
John Cicada, one of my favorite singers in the 90s.
So he
he opened up
the.
he was
you
the,
didn't play soccer as a kid,
never.
and it was not offered.
I don't think
when
Lakeview Playground had a soccer team. They might have, but I don't remember it.
And when I was a kid in St. Bernard, it wasn't even offered.
Right.
Okay. And obviously, you didn't play in high school because you played football, basketball, and baseball, and I played basketball, baseball. So it was never really like top of mind.
Right.
But go ahead. Like, so what got you into
for
it?
me, 1994 is when I feel like that's when I first really knew anything about soccer. I mean, I knew about Pele and
we all knew Pele
and certain things, but I'd watch the World Cup final or something like that. But as far as like really getting into it, and it was the United States World Cup 1994, and I was playing minor league baseball and working at a restaurant. I had surgery. So it was during the summer. I wasn't playing. I had gotten released by the Padres. I had surgery, was working at a restaurant. in Tempe, Arizona. And I remember like maybe certain groups, Colombian fans or Argentinian fans, certain groups renting out like I was working at Monty's La Casa Vieja was the name of the restaurant. It was a famous restaurant in Tempe because it was in like the oldest standing building in Tempe. It had been the first structure or something that was ever built was where this restaurant was. Now, Monty's closed like maybe 2 years ago or something like that, but it was a legendary place, and a friend of mine's family owned it. And I remember like paying attention to World Cup, John Cicada opening ceremonies, these different groups coming into restaurants, and I watched and kind of got into it. But like the Olympics, as soon as the World Cup's over, there goes your interest in soccer. And so I would kind of pay attention every 4 years in the Olympics, pay attention every 4 years of the World Cup. The women had some nice runs and won the World Cup championship and all things like that. So, just every 3-4 years when big events like that, you'd pay attention and get into it. Well, what all changed for me was when the New Orleans Saints played the Minnesota Vikings in London 3-4 years ago. And I go up there with my brother and friends to go watch the Saints. And while we're there, we say, well, when in Rome, do as the Romans, right? And we got to go check out a professional soccer game while we're here in London. I mean, we got to go see what this thing's all about. And there's so many high-end, high-level Premier League, Champions League. There's so much soccer in the London area. You talk about an hour and a half radius from where we were staying in Soho. And we had like 3 or 4 choices of games we could have gone to. And we decided to go to see Chelsea at Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace and Chelsea are in the Premier League. And, of course, Chelsea's one of the biggest brands in all of professional soccer. Crystal Palace would be like the Saints, right? The blue-collar part of town. They got their rabid fan base, but they're not the Rams, or whatever. So I went and had the best time ever. Like, it was amazing, the vibe, the energy, the experience. And I went, it clicked for me, and I went, okay, I get it. And if I was living in England or if I was living in Europe, I'd be all in on it too, based on my experience in person.
Make a comparison, because you have been to the Kentucky Derby, and that's a spectacle. How did that match you went to compare to when you went to the Kentucky Derby?
I would rather go to a Premier League soccer match.
Okay, that's what I was trying to at least see.
And here's the thing is that I went to just a regular season Premier League. I went to like
week 4.
Yeah, I went to like week 4 kind
week
of a 17-game football season. I was like week 3 or 4. I wasn't at the playoffs. I wasn't in anything that super mattered. And it still had that kind of energy for me and everything. Whereas, like, say the Kentucky Derby, which I've been to, and it's a bucket list type event, there's a lot of buildup. But I mean, the actual that horses run for a couple minutes. That's it. You know what I mean?
2 minutes and 3
right,
seconds.
Right.
You're over.
I mean, so yeah, I would rather go to Premier League, and they play. I want to say in the Premier League, and I know somebody's going to know the number, and I don't. I want to say like 40 something games during the regular season. So if you've got a team, you'd have 24 or so home games. That's a long season over the course of many months, and it's pretty awesome.
Have you ever been to Talladega or Daytona?
I've never done Talladega
or Daytona for the racing, auto racing.
The only racing I've ever done is I went to the Coca-Cola 500, I believe it was called, in Atlanta 20 years ago or so. LSU baseball was playing at the Georgia Bulldogs in a 3-game series. The Jumbo Sports Network and CST, we were televising that Sunday game. And I flew into Atlanta to drive to Athens like the day before or something like that. And George Boudreaux, the founder of Boudreaux's Butt Paste,
good friend,
was sponsoring a car. Like he sponsored a car a few times a year.
The Butt Paste car?
Right. And he had the Boudreaux's Butt Paste logo on the hood. And there was a female driver. She was a school teacher and a female driver. And I got to go in the pits and hold the little stop sign. Like how they lean over with the sign so that the car knows where to pull into the pit. I got to hold that sign a couple times, which was really, really cool. Now, I think the car finished last, because I think Boudreaux and them had like $10 for a budget, and everybody else had like $1 million.
Well, George Boudreaux had Boudreaux's Pharmacy in Covington. Okay, this is before all the national chains showed up on every other corner, and it was a very popular place. Covington was a small town when I lived there, and I knew George. He had kids that played at the rec department, the whole bit, and he developed that in his little lab behind the pharmacy counter.
Well, the E True Hollywood story on that, because he told me, was that he was working for a pharmacist who had already come up with that compound to help with diaper rash, and it didn't have any fancy name to it. It had whatever the chemical name was, but when George, the people would come to the pharmacy and say, hey, do you have any more of that, that diaper cream or whatever? Well, eventually it morphed to, do you have any more of that butt paste?
Yeah.
And then that gentleman, retired and sold his pharmacy or whatever to Mr. George and Mr. George. So then it became, the butt paste for years and years and years, to help with diaper rash and all. And then they found out it helps with other things as well. But then because his name was George Boudreaux, it eventually morphed to Boudreaux's butt paste. And of course, the rest is history. What put Mr. George on the map and helped make him a bunch of money on top of the money he was making already was Oprah Winfrey fell in love with the product. And she, how they have Oprah's favorite things, which used to be an episode once a year where if you were lucky enough to be in the audience for an Oprah's favorite things taping, she usually highlighted 5 to 10 things a year. And most of the time she would give away those products on air. So like under your seat, they would be a tube of Boudreaux's butt paste or a Coca-Cola can or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right. And one year, she decided to feature Boudreaux's butt paste as one of her favorite things, and it wasn't just for diaper rash. She used it for other things. And because when Oprah puts her stamp on something, it exploded in the stores and Walmart and all that. Mr. George bought a $500,000 Prevost bus because he's a huge LSU football and athletic supporter. He's tailgate and everything, and he had a big giant $500,000 Prevost tailgate bus, and on the bumper sticker, on the license plate, it said "Thanks, Oprah."
I didn't know that part.
So
and I know he went to the game at Notre Dame that year, and he was on national TV on the sideline.
And then Oprah did him a solid, and like years later, in one of her episodes of Oprah's all-time favorite things, she brought it back again, and he made another lick.
Ronnie, before we go to break, don't forget Court Street Cafe right up the highway in Port Allen. Steak night tonight, the brunch tomorrow. Jason and the staff do a super job at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. I'll be out there Monday night for Sports Shorts Monday, which will air at 6:30 on Facebook, YouTube, and X. That'll be Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Check it out. We got Joel coming up after.
We got Joel Davis over at Woodenhaven Furniture Company. He's waiting for you to go see him. We'll talk to JD the Hog when we return next. We got Major League Baseball draft, LSU baseball talk as well that we'll get into, and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. Sports Shorts will continue for the Bruley Walk-Ons right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Ronnie Rantz here with you alongside Tommy Krysan at the number one walk-ons in all the land, the Bruley walk-ons, just 10 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge. And joining us right now, speaking of Baton Rouge, in the heart of Mid-City is Woodenhaven Furniture Company. And wherever there's Woodenhaven Furniture Company on a Saturday, most of the time there is Joel Davis. JD joins us. What's up, sir?
Ron, what's up, my dude? Good to see you're back on your own show.
I mean, the last.
God dang, dude. I mean, literally have done the show. By the way, last week, debacle. Not sure what was going on last week.
Yeah, I heard we had some technical difficulties with your phone call.
A few. Just a few, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, listen. Here's the deal, dude. God is good, bro. Look at the weather outside, guys. Look at the weather. You know, nothing will make you appreciate good weather.
He's going to say it's furniture weather, Tommy.
No, he's bad weather. What?
I was just telling Tommy you're about to give me it's furniture buying weather.
100%. 100%. Chamber of Commerce Saturday, Ron. But more importantly, bad weather makes you appreciate good weather that much more. Thank you, the Lord upstairs, for a beautiful sunny Saturday, right? Love the idea that we're on the verge of high school football. Love the fact that we're on the verge of college football and NFL football. Couldn't be any better. This is the type of year that gets me jacked, Ron. You understand what I'm talking about?
I hear you, Joel.
Ron, I'm telling you, dude, I look like I'm on steroids, and I'm not, because I'm so jacked right now because football is right around the corner. I mean, the veins are popping.
Joe,
everything's just happening.
Joe,
yes,
only July.
Sorry.
It's only July the 11th.
Yeah, haven't even had media days yet.
You want to see what I'm going to look like on August 1st, Ron? It's going to be ridiculous. I'm going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's going to be stupid.
I don't know about that.
Joel,
Lou Ferrigno. I'll look like Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk.
Joel, you got about
Ron.
12 to let's see, you got 7, 8, about 10 more days to get in the Red Zone fundraising night at the ballpark for you and your coaches. We've got about 6 or so, 7 more home games. So you need to hurry up and get it in.
A lot of guys need to be invited, Ron.
Yeah.
So I get a call from Brewerton the other day. Let's go to the Brewski.
Head coach Zachary High football.
Oh, my God, dude. Him and his staff. Look, there's a lot of great coaches and how they run their programs. Buddy, it all starts at the top, dude. And my fundraising, when I fundraise with the team, it tells me a lot about what type of organization they're running. Are they holding kids accountable? Are they making sure that every kid is responsible for everything they do? Showing up on time, getting their weights in, making sure that they're staying on schedule with the amount of weights that they're lifting, progressing through the program, but holding kids accountable, Ron. And I'm going to tell you, nobody does it better than the Brewski up at Zachary High School and that staff. So he calls me 2 days ago. He goes, "Hey, man, I just want to give you an update on the card sale." Now, mind you, they only have like 95 varsity players, right? They have like another 100. Then they got then another 50, say, freshmen. So we run our fundraiser with the varsity first, right? And then we come back with the freshmen, and then we come back with the middle school, blah, 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 blah. But my point is, and Ron, you've done this before. You remember when you were selling those cards, those little discount cards?
Yeah,
and
back in the
hand
day.
each kid 20 cards. And the state average is about 10 cards per kid sold. That's about the average on the state. Ask me what the average is for the varsity football team at Zachary High School.
I'm going to say clearly it's a crazy number, but I would think at least 20.
It's 21 cards, Ron.
Yeah.
21 cards. And that's why they win, bro, because the staff holds those kids accountable. And when they hand those kids 20 cards, it's not, hey, I need you to try to sell these cards for your football team. It's you're going to sell these cards. You're going to get it done. And if you don't get it done, you're not playing. And I don't care if you run a 4-2. I don't care if you run a 4-4. That's how you win state championships, bro. It's not about just the weight room. It's about holding them accountable on every single everything they
Well,
do.
it's the
whether
same
it's a
to me.
fundraiser,
To me, it's the same as like as an old baseball guy. You know, if you ever gone to a high school baseball field or a college baseball field, especially now there's a lot of turf fields, but when it's natural grass, if the field is in good shape and it looks awesome, the program's usually in good shape and plays awesome.
correct.
When the
Hundo.
field
The
is
kids are
garbage,
involved.
like why, man, it's trash everywhere. The field looks like it hasn't been cut in a while. Whatever, the team's not going to be good. Like it goes hand in hand. Yeah,
You walk into the locker room, there's not a thing out of place. There's not a sock on the ground. There's not a jock strap on the ground. It doesn't smell like somebody's.
All right. I'm about to have lunch. Come on, I got you.
You hold everything. Hold these kids accountable. When you hold them accountable with the little things, you tend to win games on Friday night. So my point is, I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys because they are dominant, and they're not the only ones. There's plenty of other ones that are out there that do just as good as them. But they were fresh in my mind. They're local. They're right around the corner. You know, Brewski's on TV all the time. You see him getting interviewed on WAFB, Hunter Station, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, winners freaking win, Ron.
Anyway.
What did I say?
You said AFB.
What did I say?
Yeah, AFB.
That's those other guys.
Yeah.
That's what I
Hey,
meant. By
Joe.
the way, congratulations to Hunter. 4 years with the WBRZ, huh?
Yeah, he's on
Is
vacation
it been-
number 23 now.
Is it 4 years?
Yeah.
He's been interning and then working for them and everything.
Unbelievable.
And he's on vacation 23.
He
which
must
is why
have
he's
some
not
like
with us
pictures
today.
on the GM or something.
Yeah,
you know what I
there's
mean?
no
Like
doubt.
there's some blackmail going on because that dude's
and
got
when he-
more
and
vacation
when
time
he's
than
on
Trump.
vacation, Ron, it's not like he just like stays home or he maybe goes over to the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
He's on cruises. He's in
Chicago,
Chicago.
yeah.
He's in
I
Vegas.
think he works
mean,
for the Cubs.
Europe.
Yeah.
he might.
But all right, we are.
Hey, Joe, the Saints report July 28th. Are you jacked for that?
Coach, TK, I cannot wait, dude. Look, I am so jacked because I know that this team has a lot of what they need to be successful. They're missing some pieces. I get it. I'm a Kellen Moore believer.
He's been
I'm a
spending
Tyler
time with
Shuck
Drew
believer.
Brees in California. Shuck, I mean.
Dude, I'm a believer, dude. I think he's got to keep him healthy. I think he's primed for a 24 touchdown season through the air and another 6 on the ground.
I
really believe it's a 30 touchdown year for him.
I'm getting some good vibes about the Saints. Talking to a couple of our colleagues in New Orleans who pay attention to it daily, even though they don't report till July 28th. But and I've been reading some things. I'm starting to get a few good vibes.
Yes, but they got to start off hot, TK. They can't come out. The gate flat. They have to come out and get a quick head start. Win minimum 2-2 out the gate. 3-1 would be amazing. A 2-0 start would be unbelievable. And that's what they have to do. They can't come out and drop 3, be 1-3 and then have to fight their way back. Even though in this division that they would still have a chance, right? Because we understand that this division's not the greatest. I mean, bro, they have everything that they need to do. I can't wait to see what our first round draft pick does. Tyson, I can't wait to see him actually on the field and how he works with A-Chain and Shuck and this whole offense, how it's going to work together. How Johnson's game is going to improve now that you have other tight ends like Fant and my boy from Georgia in the tight end room now. I'm pumped about that, dude. They're telling you, dude, they really improved this roster in the offseason. And I think if they get off to a hot start, when that confidence grows, buddy, this team can take off, right? It has a lot. Mental is a big part of this. You know that, Ron. TK, you know that the mental aspect of the game is massive, right? And so they have to get off the hot start. And if they do that, man, look out.
Talking with Joel Davis. He's over at Woodenhaven Furniture Company in the heart of Mid-City. If you go by there today, you tell them you heard it right here on
you get nothing.
Sports Shorts
You get
Radio.
nothing.
You're not doing tax for them, at least. I mean, come on.
I tell you what, if you come by here today and you say Ron Rantz sent you or Tommy Krysan sent you, I'll give you a little something. I might
have to stop by and say I sent myself.
I don't know. What are you going to give them?
Listen. I will give them a purple and gold duck, even if they don't buy anything.
Even if they don't buy anything? All right, TK, I'll see you over
Even
there.
if they don't-
TK, you and I, we're
No,
going by.
not you.
Oh, you said if I
You
just
said-
said.
I'm
gonna
sending
say
Ronnie.
Tommy.
Ronnie sending Tommy.
Tommy told me, and then I told Tommy.
Right. That's easy. You just. I'm sending Ronnie. Ronnie's sending Tommy. Get the ducks ready.
Imagine that. Ronnie's going to show up when things are free. Not one invitation.
He's on you,
Hey,
Ron.
I was the biggest Rougarou fan on the planet last year.
You didn't get
He
invited
been
last
to
year.
a
You
game
just
this
showed
year.
up. You just showed up. You didn't get invited.
Have you been to a Rougarou game?
One invitation.
Yeah.
You need
Not
an
one
invitation.
invitation this year from the big guy. Not one call, not one invitation, nothing from the big guy.
Joel, did you
And
see?
finally-
Did you see how many people were at the ball game last night?
I did not. How many did you have?
2,255.
What the?
So the game you went to,
A Rougarou game?
the
or-
2255 at the Baton Rouge Rougarou game last night. We had
Now,
the
how many of those-
U
now,
Triple
how
S.
many of those are paid customers?
2254.
A lot, a lot, a
How
lot.
many of those 2,200 got a VIP?
Oh well, no. We don't give away VIPs, Joe. But no, trust me, it was a magical night. They had the U Triple SA Rec League World Series.
You sold some definitely some chips and hot dogs and some stuff like that. Like
Yeah, we did all right.
And the Rougarou merchandise.
We did all
is very
right.
popular.
Yeah. We did
You
all
can
right.
pay for the duck, Ron. You
No.
can pay
I
for
want
the
my free duck. I want my free
We need
duck.
a Rougarou duck or a
All right.
duck or Rougarou. All right.
Joel, look at the schedule and get your Red Zone fundraising night ready. We only got about a week and a half left, so you got to figure out what you want to do.
Season's over already, dude.
Dude, it's our last home game. Our last regular season home game is the 22nd, I believe. Right?
That's correct.
July-
Wednesday the 22nd.
Wednesday the 22nd.
Could be a playoff game the next
Yes,
week.
that's what I'm saying. Like we did last year. We need to do
All
the
right,
Red
Joel.
Zone night. All right, Joel, we'll let you go, man. We'll talk. We'll come see you after. Bye.
I got a comment. I know what I'm getting for Christmas, and that comes from Mama Rantz.
There you go. That's right. It's getting a purple and gold
The
duck.
purple and gold duck is going.
But it's a one of a
to
kind.
Mama
It's a
Rantz.
one of a
Hey,
kind.
thank you, Mama Rantz, for the comment.
All right, we'll take a break. We're over here at the Bruley Walk-Ons, where it's a great place to watch, of course, the World Cup. We also have the Genesis Scottish Open going on right now.
Scotty Scheffler missed a cut for the first time in 78 events. in
Really?
the Scottish Open.
First cut missed. Did
That was like the fifth longest ever.
is Burns?
PGA.
Did Burns
I
play
don't
in
know
it?
how. If I don't know if Burns. I'll check that out during the break. But we gotta get the break.
All right, we'll take a time. I'll be back with more sports shorts. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Sports Shorts Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Ronnie Rantz here with you alongside Tommy Krysan. You're listening to Sports Shorts Radio every Saturday morning from 10 to noon right here on ESPN Radio, Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge. If you're over in Lake Charles, don't forget the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators home game this Tuesday over at McNeese Ballpark, taking on the Baton Rouge Rougarou. The Rougarou and the Gumbo Gators will play 4 times next week, Tuesday through Friday. They'll alternate each night. Actually, Wednesday in Baton Rouge, we're bringing the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators to Baton Rouge, and we're bringing the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators dance team.
Good.
They're going to come perform. We also will have William Schmidt, LSU Tiger pitcher, who will be the ace of the staff next year. William Schmidt will be signing autographs from 6 to 7 behind the third base dugout, the Rougarou dugout. He'll be taking pictures. If you bring items to sign, he'll sign them for you. That'll be this coming Wednesday. So we'll have the Gator Girls dance team, the best dance team in the league, that will be performing throughout the game. And we'll have LSU Tiger star William Schmidt, former Catholic High Baton Rouge pitcher, will be there from 6 to 7 this Wednesday for the Baton Rouge Rougarou game against the Gumbo Gators. Wednesday, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, gates open. But before we get to that, the Rougarou have a home game tomorrow night. So come on out to the ballpark, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Gates open at 6. All right, so the Scottish Open is going on right now. The British Open right around the corner. Scottish Open, no Sam Burns. He did not play in it. You mentioned Scotty Scheffler missed a cut by 2 strokes. He went 68-70 or 68-72, I believe. That didn't get it done. He missed by 2 strokes to cut. Rory McIlroy is tied for the lead going into the third round later today. The British Open, where is it this year?
Royal Birkdale.
Royal Birkdale, yeah.
I got a buddy that played it. I think you're playing it next year. It's one of the older courses in the rotation over there across the pond, but it's a cool course.
Rory's played it a ton, so not a surprise that he's
odds-on favorite.
Absolutely should be
slightly ahead of Scheffler. But I was telling you during the break, I've seen when Scheffler doesn't have a good performance on Thursday or Friday, he's lights out Saturday, Sunday. So I wonder if missing the cut at the Scottish Open would get him okay, I'm gonna show them that ain't gonna happen again.
Do we know where the Scottish Open's being played?
I can tell you
that is. I'm curious. Because I've been
played at the Renaissance Club in Great Britain.
Okay, Renaissance Club in Great Britain. Okay, yeah, I've never played that. I've never played anything in Great Britain. I've only been in Scotland
twice. You played St. Andrews, right?
Played St. Andrews twice. Been to Scotland twice, and then been to Ireland once. Going to go back next May for.
You have a lot of frequent flyer miles, don't you?
But I'm not like my mom, man. My mom's on top of it. She's, she gets if there's a point to be getting for a gallon of milk, she figures out how to get it.
Well,
I'm the guy who's got such wasted miles, probably a little here, a little there, never use it, don't know how, that kind of thing.
I got a good one. I'm a point getter too. The last fill up of gas I had, and the next 4 fill ups, I have 60 cents a gallon off. That adds up.
Where do you do that?
Chevron.
Okay.
I got the Chevron app, and they had a promo the other day. If you filled up on 4th of July, they gave you 2,500 points, and that's good for 5.
I seem to type in my number a lot at gas pumps, but it goes to some mystery.
I might have to
somewhere.
coach you up one day, right? Right. I'm saying,
like racetrack. I should never buy a drink
on
at racetrack. As many times as I've typed in my number.
On 5 fill-ups in my Jerry Lane GMC, I'm gonna save over $100. Man, that's like getting 2 fill-ups for free. I mean, come on.
Now, that's unleaded or
regular gas?
Yeah, regular gas. Yeah.
No, Jerry Lane GMC Canyon. I love it.
Yeah,
thank you, Eric.
Yeah, I went diesel first time ever a year ago. Got a diesel truck.
Yeah, I got the regular.
And then of course, it's the second I buy the diesel truck, prices go through the roof with the war in Iran and everything. Now I was paying $5 a gallon at one point. Now they're coming down. Thank goodness.
Walk-ons get ready to open the doors here in Bruley, so folks need to come on out. We're about to roll to our break, put our number 1 into the books. Got a whole nother hour. We're here till 12 noon, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. Do check us out. Don't forget the Island Golf Course down the street in Plaquemine. With Ronnie Rantz, I'm Tommy Krysan. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 around the corner. Stay with us.
No 2 people learn the exact
WDGL HD2, Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. This is Sports Shorts Radio.
And welcome everyone back to Sports Shorts Radio. Ronnie Rantz alongside Tommy Krysan, hour number 2 of Sports Shorts coming your way. I hope thanks for listening to us. And Sports Shorts, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Baton, Rouge. We're over at the Bruley Walk-Ons, 10 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge. Highway 1 South, if you get to the base of the Mississippi River Bridge, heading into Baton Rouge from the west side, just take Highway 1 South, 5 minutes on your right is the Bruley Walk-Ons. The place to be. I was out the last couple of weeks, only joined via segment, I guess. And
there's something I want to bring up, Ronnie, and I know I'm going to blindside you with this, but somebody very close to you and I, and you hadn't had a chance to comment. Roger Kadar passed away at the age of 74. Well, his services were last Monday. You were out of town.
Yeah.
I had something I had to do and couldn't make it, but I hosted his show one year when Clarence Buggs had some kind of surgery and couldn't do it. Roger paid me to host his show here in Baton Rouge, like the whole 15 shows, and he never said no if you asked him to come on the radio or TV or Roger, can you come meet this person? But and he had battled brain cancer. He had some illnesses. It wasn't a great last year or so for him, but what a legend, Roger Kadar, and I know he meant a lot to you.
Yeah, I hated that I didn't end up making it to his service. I know Skip Burtman spoke. Hiller Moore, district attorney, was a really good friend of his and spoke. And obviously Roman Banks and other Southern officials. Wilbert Ellis, the former Louisiana, he is in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame as an Ambassador Award winner, former longtime coach and AD at Grambling, also spoke. I was in Omaha, Nebraska all last week at the Stinger National High School Baseball Championship Series presented by Raising Cane's. It was 18 states represented, all-star teams from 18 states. Louisiana made the Final Four. And myself, I was the executive producer of it all week for ESPN. And then Todd Walker, myself, and Lynn Rollins did the semis and the finals. And I had a lot of wrap-up stuff to do over there, and then I couldn't, there weren't a lot of flights. I couldn't get in earlier. And I actually changed flights to get in a little earlier when I was going to be able to make like the second half of the service, and then the flight ended up being delayed. But so my history with Roger Kadar, who is in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, and we obviously became great friends for many years. The first time I can remember meeting him, I knew who he was. Of course, the Southern baseball coach, and I knew who he was as that in the 80s. I was a senior in high school. The Texas Rangers, I believe, invited me to go to a pro tryout at Bruley High. Actually, it's kind of funny that we're here in Bruley with this story. It was like, you know how they used to do, scouts back in the day would have Texas Rangers tryout camp or whatever, and they put you through the paces.
I went to a handful of.
Yeah, you'd run, you'd throw, you'd hit. There'd be some Ranger scouts, some college scouts, whatever. Well, Kadar was there scouting as well for Southern, trying to find players, and I believe Ricky Powell from Tioga High School, who was a left-handed player. I think Ricky might have went to Southern, or maybe at least he tried to sign him. Maybe he recruited him and he didn't. I can't remember. But Ricky was from Central Louisiana. I'm at Menard High in Central Louisiana, and we went to the camp. And that was the first time I met Roger. And he was a bigger-than-life personality. He's loud. He's got a great, sense of joking. And I remember talking to him and yucking it up. And, hey, Coach, I am going to LSU, and, we'll play against y'all. And that was the first time I met him. And then, of course, played against him. Got to really kind of know him and be personal friends with him probably 25, 30 years ago, late 90s. I remember LSU playing Southern every year, at least once, sometimes twice. And they would play, and I remember them playing at Zephyr Field in the late 90s. And at the time, Southern had never beaten LSU. And the game went into extra innings. and LSU won the game. Brad Cressy hits a routine fly ball to right field, but because they had played the shift on him, and this was before the shift was the thing, but they had a guy throwing 70 miles an hour, and Brad Cressy was a pull hitter, so they figured this guy's going to pull the ball. And so they literally had like the right fielder playing practically in center field, and Cressy hits one off the end of the bat the other way, and it ends up being the win and run. But I remember like getting to know Roger in the 90s, doing TV and radio and all that, and him being a guest on my shows and stuff. And then we became great friends. And, he's only 74, I believe. He was only 74 years old, when he passed. And Coach Bertman's still 88 and still going strong. And so he's going way too soon. But so many stories. And he one of the funniest ones was, he didn't speak English until he was like 12 years old.
Right.
He grew up on the other
Road.
side of New Roads in a little town. I can't think of the name, but they spoke Creole on the opposite across the water from New Roads, a little community where he spoke Creole until he was like 12 years old. So because of that, he had this accent. He had this inflection.
It was he was unique.
Yeah, he had his own like kind of dialect, right? And it was a combination of not really reading and writing and all that till later in life, and speaking English, and then, with the accent already of South Louisiana. And so he had his own little unique accent. And my nickname, of course, was Jumbo that Skip Bertman gave me when I played for him in the early 90s. But when it came out of his mouth, it sounded like Jimbo, like Jim instead of Jum. And Canaveri and yourself and me and everybody used to make fun of it, Jimbo. And he was saying Jumbo, but it all came across, Jimbo.
The Creole touch.
Yeah, the Creole touch to it. And, that dude was so nice, so awesome.
Well, Ronnie, when I was a freshman at Southeastern, he was the assistant baseball coach at Southern under Leroy Boyd, who was a great coach at Southern baseball. Then Roger actually got away from baseball for a couple of years and was assistant basketball coach because he played both sports at Southern. By the way, he hit like 393 his last year at Southern. And then, of course, I got to know him. But two stories. He calls me up one day and says, TK, you got to come have a cocktail with me. I got somebody I want you to meet. Long story short, I show up. He's sitting there with Dusty Baker, who was in town. Another time, he's sitting there with Dave Stewart. Remember the big-time pitcher, Cy Young Award winner. But, he was always just a perfect gentleman, a great coach, and, so much success and all that good stuff. He's going to be missed, but I have a lot of fond memories of Roger Kadar.
Yeah, the funny one, the last one, a million I could tell, but I'm emceeing his banquets.
I did a lot of PA work for him at Southern baseball.
I emceed his banquets the last few years that he had him when he was working with Major League Baseball, and he had Dusty Baker and Dave Stewart and all these guys come in to speak. And because he was working with urban development with Major League Baseball, trying to grow the game for, African-American players, in their inner cities.
It was a big thing at the Crown Plaza one year I went to.
Yeah, he had the banquet over there. Yeah. He had the banquet at LaBerge, And so the final banquet he had, it was the last one ever because he's retiring. Dan Canterbury is an assistant coach for him. And I walk in there, and Roger wants to go over the program a little bit with me prior to the doors opening, just to tell me what he wants me to do and all that. And I'm looking at the program, and he's got Randy Ranch, wherever it's supposed to say Ronnie Rantz on the program. It says Randy Ranch. I'm talking Randy Ranch, not Ronnie Rantz, Randy Ranch, all over the program because I'm speaking all over this thing. And I go, Coach, are you kidding me? And I'll show it to him. And I go, we've known each other for 40 years. Like, it's got Randy Ranch all over the thing. He goes, oh, Jimbo, I did not do that, Jimbo. That's the white people did that, Jimbo. That's the white people messed up. I did not do that. And I
love it.
And so the funny thing is that Canterbury pulls me aside and goes, you're Randy Ranch in his phone. I've seen you call him, and he's answered the phone. And
so the white
Randy
people
Ranch.
didn't do it. Yeah. Well, no, in fact, I got a lot of fine memories, and what a guy, I mean, it's just
it was a great
we
turnout.
we could spend 2 hours just on Roger Kadar stories, just like Skip stories and everything else. But the impact that he made at Southern University and to the game of baseball, and to the youth programs that he always supported. I mean, he was one of one, as they say.
He was a trip. All right, we will. We're over here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. Transition into, speaking of baseball, let's talk a little LSU baseball. The draft.
Yeah, we got to do that. The draft starts in about an hour. Hey, I really want to thank Major League Baseball for waiting
Thanks,
until
Rob.
Sports Shorts Radio concludes today here at the Bruley Walk-Ons, and then they're going to start round one of the draft.
Yeah, thanks, Rob Manfred, the commissioner. It's odd that they're starting the draft at noon, I mean, as opposed to prime time, but whatever. Obviously, they figure out
10:30 tomorrow.
That's what makes sense. So 4 rounds today. In those 4 rounds, we expect, obviously, Derek Curiel and Jake Brown to be gone. The question is where, and is that high enough, for them to go? And I don't have any expectation of Derek Curiel or Jake Brown returning. Do you?
I do not. I think Curiel's going to go in the last part of the first round, and I think Jake Brown's going to go in round 2. That's a pure guess. I got no inside info. I haven't talked to any major league scouts. I know many of them, but I hadn't talked to any of them about this. But I think Curiel's going to go somewhere between 15 and 30, and then Jake Brown, I think, will go early part of the second round.
Derek Curiel and Jake Brown gone. Devin Sheeran
could go.
Is a guy that's also the highest ranked LSU pitcher on the board. So it's kind of expected that all 3 of them will probably go. Will sign. Where Devin Sheeran actually goes, who knows? He's ranked as the number 144th by MLB as far as players go. And that would probably put him somewhere in the neighborhood of the the top 5 rounds. Obviously, he could go earlier, he could go later. But Lucas Naraki surprised some folks yesterday. A two-way guy, pitcher, player, was expected to be a top 2-round pick. He withdrew his name from the draft for LSU. And
like Stephen Milam did. Same thing. You can pull your name out of there. You just have to submit official notification to the draft so that nobody wastes a pick on you.
I mean, that is big time. It's amazing how these guys he's a left-handed pitcher, first baseman, outfielder, 5'11", 190-pounder from Aledo, Texas. We had a few Aledo, Texas teams in town right now for the USSSA Rec League World Series. But that was a giant sign. A giant get for LSU baseball, who thought they were going to have to sweat it out with Lucas Naraki. And he's now the 3rd player from LSU's 2026 recruiting class to withdraw his name. Outfielder Nathaniel Davis and left-handed pitcher Braxton Beatty, all of them. Naraki was the number 115th player in the draft, according to ESPN's draft rankings, and the number 151 player in MLB's list. He went to Aledo High School, 2-way player. He even hit in front of scouts at the Major League Baseball Draft Combine last month. He's probably on the little shorter side. I mean, they got him listed at 5'11". A lot of people think he's more like 5'10". But he has a fastball that can reach up to 95 miles an hour from the left side, and an excellent slider as well. Throws a changeup, which he didn't have to use much in high school, but we'll probably develop that. And according to scouts, one scout told the Advocate, as a freshman, he could come in and pitch meaningful innings and get left-handed hitters out, kind of how Griffin Herring did when he was a freshman. Remember, Griffin Herring did so well for LSU. Throws a bunch of strikes, and his breaking ball is really good. Talking about his slider. Had a high asking price, obviously, as you should. And because of his size, at 5'10", 5'11", if he was 6'3", nothing to talk about. 5'10", 5'11", might not give him the money that he wants.
They're not all going to be Ron Guidry.
Right. But how about this? Think about this. Now with the 5-for-5 rule, and again, I don't know his birthday, so I don't know when he turns 21. But in theory, if he turns 21 at around the draft time after his sophomore year, he could have leverage his sophomore year in the draft, junior year in draft, in his senior year. Remember, I don't know how, or second year. We're going to have to stop calling it freshman, junior. Just call it second year, third year, and fourth year. So he'll have 3 years potentially to have leverage to be drafted or go pro or not. And so think about it. If he stays at LSU for 4 years, remember he got 5, but if he stayed at LSU for 4 years, he'll probably have made $1 million. So he'll make $1 million if he's really as good as they say he is. And then he can get drafted and go in the pro draft and maybe get another couple $1 million.
Well, Ronnie, I said this on Sports Shorts Friday. You heard me say it. I mean, why wouldn't a guy want to go play at LSU or there's a lot of great SEC schools, make 200, 300,000 a year instead of riding a bus in Des Moines, Iowa for 12 hours to play a couple of 7-inning games and a doubleheader and eat a pizza at the end of the night? Why wouldn't you want to go to, LSU with the fans and the stadium and the facilities, compete in the SEC and find out if you're really any good? A lot of guys think they're good, but find out if you're really good. And this is no slight to the other SEC schools. It's obviously the best college baseball conference in America.
11th place team won the national
championship. Yeah, 11th place team won the national title. There you go. And the 14th place team beat the 11th place team in Hoover.
Right.
So why wouldn't you want to do that instead of riding around the Midwest or up and down the Eastern Seaboard, playing single A ball? Oh, you're in double A, but whatever. But so no, what Major League Baseball has done was shrinking the draft, cutting back the number of affiliate programs they have on all the MLB clubs, has been a big boost for college baseball.
Yeah, no, does this surprise you? It doesn't surprise me one iota that Jay Johnson's team next year is going to be loaded. I mean, not one iota. Think about it. All of their starters from this year on the bump are coming back. All of their weekend starters in February, when they started off 9-0 or 6-0, whatever it was, 8-0, whatever it was, that pitching staff is all returning, and they're going to be juniors.
Throw in the new guys.
Then you throw in the transfers. Then you throw in the freshmen that are now sophomores, and and then all these transfer portal players. Like I'm telling you right now, Jay Johnson's not taking this bad season lying down.
No, Jay Johnson is on a mission. He has said that I got to do a better job of constructing the roster. That's basically quote unquote.
And speaking of one of those starting pitchers, William Schmidt, the former Catholic High Bear, he will be at the Baton Rouge Rouge game this coming Wednesday. So make your plans to attend. Bring the kids out there. If you're an LSU fan, baseball fan too, come on out. Let's buy a ticket, get in. You get to meet William Schmidt between 6 and 7. He'll be under a tent behind the third base dugout, signing autographs, taking pictures, you name it. And then he'll throw out the first pitch as well. That'll be this Wednesday night. And we'll have the Gator Girls dance team from Lake Charles, one of the best dance teams in the league. They will be here as the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators travel to Baton Rouge this Wednesday.
And prior to Wednesday, they're home tomorrow night. So gates open 6 o'clock tomorrow night against the Acadiana Cane Cutters. So get on out to Goolsby tomorrow night.
All right, we'll take a time out. We'll be back with more Sports Shorts live from the Bruley Walk-Ons right after this.
Now back to Sports Shorts Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Ronnie Rantz here with you over at the Bruley Walk-Ons, just across the Mississippi River from Baton Rouge. Looking forward to it. I think I'm going to go black and redfish. What are you going to do?
That's one of my go-tos here and I'm going to check out the menu. A lot of times when we have Hunter here, I'll eat before the show's over, but I'm going to do it after. I'm going to go with something, but the black and redfish, I get it with the crawfish cream sauce. It is really good here at Walk-Ons.
All right, before we get back to talking a little bit about the draft, let's bring in Patrick Scallon, the founder and owner of riveroflifecapsules.com. Angiogenesis Medical is his company, and they came up with riveroflifecapsules.com years ago. How did this come about, Patrick?
Hey, good morning, guys. So, yeah, long story short, we have been in the durable medical equipment field for over 25 years. And we saw thousands of patients coming in with severe pain, severe arthritis, severe joint pain, and they were taking and are taking many of them still the same over-the-counter stuff. And, anything that you're taking that's not natural and organic, and what they have out there at your drugstore or whatever store you take for pain, arthritis, inflammation is bad for you. Basically, after 3 days you can't take it because it might, severely harm you. So basically what we did was we said, what can we do to create an anti-inflammatory, anti-arthritic, and anti-joint pain, anti-stress product that would actually be good for you while you take it? So when you take River of Life capsules at riveroflifecapsules.com, it's good for 10 parts of your body. And so it eliminates the pain, it eliminates the arthritis, it eliminates the, every type of pain that you have in your body and de-stresses you out, and it's good for you. And it's proven also to be anti-aging. If you go to riveroflifecapsules.com, you won't be disappointed, everybody. We've improved the formula. We've improved it. We've increased the pain relief. We've tweaked it, as you were saying earlier, Ronnie. And people are doing fantastic. You just take 2 pills a day. In 20 or 30 minutes, you will feel serious pain relief. It doesn't make you drowsy. It doesn't make you dopey. It doesn't make you weird. You just feel great at riveroflifecapsules.com. It's a game changer.
I appreciate it, Patrick. Appreciate it for joining us. Let's head back to the Major League Baseball draft. The amount of money, I looked this up, Tommy, because I kind of wanted to see what we were talking about here. The last pick in the second round is slotted for $1.3 million. Okay, now that's not what they're going to get. They might get more, and a lot of times they do, but slotted for 1.3. The third round, the last pick of the third round. Keep in mind, there's some sandwich picks too in between the, first round, second round, third. The last pick of the third round is like $750,000, and so in essence, if you're a good attorney, you're looking at $1 million for the last pick of the third round. So anything in the first 3 rounds is a really good chance you're going to get $1 million or more. Well, I mean, you're going to get $1 million or more in the second round, but third round as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And part of that is because there's only 20 rounds, so the money they have that they allocate for the draft is higher because they don't have as many guys to worry about signing.
Jake Brown doesn't have. I mean, Curriel and Jake Brown both have leverage now. Now, Curriel would just finish his second year. Jake Brown finished his third year. But it's not like a traditional third year for Jake Brown because now he can play 5. So Jake Brown actually has real leverage now. And what I mean by that is if you're a junior and someone drafts you and they offer you $100,000 and you say, no, I want $200,000, you're saying I'm willing to go back to college for my senior year. Well, okay, you can go back to your college for your senior year, and they'll kind of know about what you'll make you get going back to college. But then when you get drafted after your senior year, that's it. You really don't have any leverage. Whatever monies they give you is just courtesy money. But if you're Derek Curriel, you finish your sophomore year, well, now he's got leverage this year because he can say, I go back for my 3rd season. He's got leverage next year because he can go back for his 4th season. And when he gets to his 4th year, he could say, I'm going to go back for my 5th year if you don't pay. So these guys are going to be able to really stretch the pot and get as much as they possibly can if they're a 1st, 2nd, 3rd round pick.
I agree with you totally, and it's all about negotiating, the leverage, and the posturing, and get as much money as you can because you're not going to get it forever. But you, as great as Curiel and Jake Brown are, we don't know that they're going to have a 10-year Major League Baseball career, so they got to get it while the getting's hot. And I think they're both in a great position to be able to do that with their handlers, their agents, their people.
Curiel finished the season super hot. He had a 10-game hitting streak to end the LSU season. He batted .447 during that streak, had 7 doubles, scored 13 runs, walked 9 times during that 10-game hitting streak, had a .542 on-base percentage. So he was fantastic. Another guy for LSU that finished hot, and he will be back, was Milam. Milam finished at .296 for the year, with 15 doubles, 1 triple, and 11 homers. Remember, Tommy, he was hitting like 249, 250 at one point in the season. And not that, like 2/3 of the way. And then just went on a tear towards the end and finished with all that with a .981 fielding percentage.
One thing about Milam, and I'm going to go back to one of Skip's terms, he's one of those guys who comes up with the timely hit. Okay, he might be 0 for 3 and maybe, pop one up to the catcher or whatever. And then all of a sudden when you need him in the 7th or 8th inning, he comes through. And that's kind of been his story since he's been wearing, the LSU uniform. And of course, what he did at shortstop, I mean, he had a couple errors late in the year, but he was really, really good. There were a lot of really good shortstops in the SEC. He was one of them.
Jake Brown, as we talked, finished the year .309, had 165 at-bats. Remember, he missed the last 17 games of the year due to a hand injury. He was number 5 in the SEC in homers, number 5 in RBIs, and number 9 in total bases at the time of his injury. He had 16 homers with 17 games left to play. He would have easily cleared the 20 threshold, in my opinion, before he got hurt. Not a long-term, career-ending injury. He's fine. Aaron Beatty, by the way, .317 he finished for the year with 18 homers. Of course, Aaron Beatty coming back. But his emergence, Aaron Beatty's emergence, and Milam's emergence, how they turned their seasons around offensively from halfway through the season to what they did the second half is amazing.
You think Jake Brown, corner outfielder in pro ball? Corner, probably left because – I don't want to be critical, but his arm's not, a plus.
Yeah, but it's really
He's
good.
accurate. He's accurate, which is maybe more important.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a better arm, put him in left, but I think he can play right. And probably his arm will get a little bit better as he, in pro ball, especially being a former pitcher and everything like that.
Yes, I think he's a corner outfielder, going forward. But there could be a team thinks differently, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Every year I feel like we get really pumped up about LSU baseball, and then sometimes you get your heart broken a little bit with some of the guys. But on paper, this team's pretty special.
And again, round 1 starts in a little over 30 minutes. Okay, they'll do rounds 1 through 4 today. Then round 5 will start at 10:30 tomorrow morning. You'll see some other Louisiana school guys get picked. You'll see some more Tigers. Rounds 5 through 20, only 20 rounds of draft, are tomorrow. So come Sunday night, who from the state of Louisiana got drafted.
Have you seen the video that Chris Lecoq made of last night?
I did. Fantastic.
Pretty amazing.
Casey sent it to me earlier. That was A+. I mean,
I don't know if Casey's put it on social media yet.
Well, me and Casey have a plan for that tomorrow.
As far as putting it on social media?
And,
gotcha.
And tagging some sponsors. And, I mean, it's not real long, but it's spectacular.
Yeah, it's a little sizzle reel, probably 60 to 90 second kind of video.
That was Casey sent it to me this morning. And Casey and I spoke for about 20 minutes while I was on my way to the walk-ons in Bruley, and we got some thoughts we shared, and you're going to learn more about that later today or tomorrow.
Yeah, but man, I appreciate Chris Lecoq who came out there. Of course, Chris works for LPB and has been doing videos
Who hired
forever.
Chris Lecoq?
Pelican Broadcasting
TK.
and Tommy Christ back in the day.
I interviewed with him.
Yeah.
He came highly recommended, and I met him, and I went to the owners of the Pelican.
That was like, 20 years ago? Probably?
Yeah, I said, I think this guy's going to be really good. They said, okay, hire him. So I hired Chris Lecoq, and he's
a rock
so
star.
Good.
Yeah.
He is A+.
Yeah, he's a rock star. Does a lot of work with LSU. He's like one of the cameramen. He's the center field camera guy for LSU baseball. So when you watch the game, most of the games you watch are him.
Which is why I'll tell you a little secret. You kind of know this, but man, for many games I would sit with Coach Bertman. And Chris knew that. So Chris would show me and Skip and all my friends would be, look at TK sitting by Coach Bertman. Well, that was because of Chris Lecoq knowing, hey, what you know, it's who you know, right, Ryan?
Exactly. We're over here at the Bruley Walk-Ons.
They got the doors open.
Yeah. No, place is filling up. Great place, of course, to watch the Scottish Open. You got the World Cup. There's got a replay right now of Belgium and Spain. But today, 2 World Cup games. England and Norway. Norway has been playing out of their mind. England's been playing that match against Mexico that England won 3-2 was the most watched soccer match in the history of the United States of America. Had nothing to do with the U.S. playing. Mexico and England, highest ratings, biggest audience. And that's because, one, you have a lot of, obviously, Mexicans in the United States, but also because of their interest in soccer, but because it was prime time. The game was being played on prime time versus, like, for example, the other day when the United States played, they played at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Let me ask this question, Ryan, and then we'll go to break. How much having the World Cup in America at several different locations, even though Team USA went out in the round of 16, how much do you think that's going to do for the popularity of soccer in the USA?
Oh, I definitely think it's going to get a boost.
Get a little juice?
No, it'll definitely get a boost. And as it always does, right? Right after these World Cup, whether it be the ladies have had the World Cup here, the men, there's always that little boost. But the problem for me is that we are not a soccer nation.
Right.
And our best athletes don't play soccer. At the end of the day, the LeBron Jameses of the world don't play soccer. The Steve Trouts don't play
Mike Trout
soccer. I mean, Steve doesn't either.
He's
a soft tossing lefty.
Probably not.
But the Drew Breeses, maybe he did a little bit. I don't know, but they played tennis. But I mean,
they're all doing pickleball now.
At the end of the day, our athletes don't. Whereas in other nations, the number one sport is soccer.
Yeah, it's the primary,
right?
Not
and
secondary.
And that is the difference. And so we can talk about it all we want. We can put all these academies. We can try to come up with fundraisers so that inner city kids don't have to pay the same amount of money as the kids from the suburbs and all that. All the things we talk about, but is the inner city kid, if he's given the choice to play free football, free basketball, free baseball, or free soccer, is he picking soccer? I don't think so.
All
right. We will take a break. Be back with more last half hour of Sports Shorts Radio live from Bruley Walk-Ons. Ronnie Rantz, Tommy Krysan. Thanks for listening to us over in Lake Charles, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to Sports Shorts Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Ronnie Rantz here with you alongside Tommy Krysan. We're over at the Bruley Walk-Ons, right down the street from the Island Golf Course in Plaquemine, just about 10 minutes away from where we're sitting right here. Chris Burkstaller and the gang do a great job over at the Island. I'm looking forward to us being able to play some golf over there at the Island once we get to turn the calendar about September.
Well, Ron, I mentioned this, you probably forgot, but I have a gift certificate that I won on the LA Sports Hall, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame auction.
Nice.
For 4 rounds of golf with the carts at the Island. I got it on the old magnet on the refrigerator. As soon as we get some better weather and we get done with Rougarou and Gumbo Gators and all that, we're going to pick a Saturday after we're over here, whether we're at Fat Daddy's in Plaquemine or Bruley Walk-Ons or we're going to go play around. It'll be on old TK. I know you'll be there because you just had to buy me like a drink at the turn.
I got you. No, that'll be fun. The Island Golf Course, they do a great job. Of course, the home of the annual Baton Rouge Rougarou Golf Tournament every May, but go check them out. It's only, like I said, 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge, and when a lot of the golf courses kind of in the city of Baton Rouge are jammed up, you can usually find you a tee time over at the Island. The place is in great shape, great food, and all that first-class facility.
Right, we got a little comment here. Go Gators. We had a great time in Lake Charles last weekend. Johnny's super fan bowling.
Yeah, no, Johnny's a big Gators fan. I didn't get a chance to see him. I was out of town up in Omaha. But, yeah, the second half right now, the way that the Texas Collegiate League does its seasons, you have a first half and a second half. And the top 2 teams, there's 8 teams in the league, 3 in Louisiana, 5 in Texas. The top 2 teams that finish 1-2 in the first half are in the playoffs. And then the top 2 teams that finish 1-2 in the second half are in the playoffs, and they all play each other. So 4 of the 8 teams make the playoffs. If by chance anybody from the top 2 in the first half becomes top 2 in the second half, then it goes to the next team with the best overall record. Yeah. And so the first half winners were Victoria and Acadiana. So Victoria, Texas, the Generals, they dominated in the first half. And then the
17-7.
Yeah, they were really good. And then the Acadiana Cane Cutters eked in there and finished second. And so those 2 teams will have a home field advantage in the playoffs in the semifinal round. Who will they play is being determined right now. Well, right now, the hottest team in the league is the Brazos Valley Bombers. They're 7-2 through their first 9 games out of 24 that they play in the second half. So the Bombers right now are looking good, but there's a bunch of teams right on their heels. The Abilene Flying Bison are 5-4. Lake Charles Gumbo Gators are 5-4. Abilene beat the Gumbo Gators by 1 run the last 2 nights. San Antonio is 5-4. Lake Charles plays San Antonio tonight and tomorrow night over in San Antonio, so big series there. The Rougarou are 5-5. Victoria Generals are 5-5, and then you have the Cane Cutters and the Sherman Shadow Cats, both 3-7. So really, Acadiana and Victoria don't, they're kind of coasting, waiting to see who they will play. And right now it's Brazos Valley looks like the leader in the clubhouse, but I mean, plenty of baseball left. They've only played 9 games. There's 15 more to be played. But Abilene and Lake Charles and San Antonio and Baton Rouge are all right there battling for that second spot.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on that. Just check out the websites and connect on social media with the Baton Rouge Rougarou Lake Charles Gumbo Gators. Ronnie, it's hard to believe we got to deep into the second hour, and now we bring up LSU football. The Tigers, everybody knows, they open September 5, national TV against Clemson. Right now, Ronnie, LSU's an 11.5-point favorite, over and under 50.5, which I think is a notch lower than I might have guessed it to be. Lane Kiffin, his staff, Ed Orgeron, and all the guys, they're working that portal, they're working the recruits, and they're everywhere. LSU football right around the corner.
The over-under to me is always difficult to figure out that first game of the year. I think you take the under on the first game of the year.
I agree.
Personally. I think you're still working out.
Both teams are going to have a new quarterback.
New quarterbacks, playing conservative. Don't want to feel it out a little bit. Maybe not. I mean, now look, Lane Kiffin being conservative, I know is funny, but I don't know, man. Obviously, LSU fans want to see Lane Kiffin slinging it all around, seeing him going for it on 4th down, trick plays, reverses, you name it, some creative offensive stuff. But as you mentioned, new team, new players, new quarterback. There's got to be a little bit of just win baby in there, and no matter how you got to do it.
Yeah, and there's going to be a little bit of unknown, even for Lane Kiffin and his staff. They don't know exactly what Sam Levitt's going to do, or many of the other guys. Trey-Dez Green, and me. I look for big things out of him this
28-21, that's an under.
We always do that. We make a score, and
right.
But a lot of people, really getting ready for LSU football, and don't forget all the high school teams, and of course we already talked about the Saints. They report July 28th down in Metairie. They'll start practice the next day. But LSU football, it's going to get real interesting. I'm going to guess they open up. They report somewhere around August 1, 2, or 3, with the first game being September 5. Usually it's roughly 30 days before the regular season opener, which, as I said, for LSU is Saturday, September 5. That's 2 days before Labor Day. Second game for LSU, Louisiana Tech Bulldogs come to Baton Rouge. And then, Ron, week 3, LSU in Oxford against Ole Miss. Oh, my, is that going to be a week?
I'm going to be there, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be really ugly. I think it's going to be.
You mean the off the field stuff?
Yeah,
the fans.
Yeah,
social media,
the jawing and everything. I think it is going to be. And I know Lane Kiffin doesn't care from a standpoint of he's not going to care that they're going to boo him. He's not going to care that they're going to yell all kind of crazy things at him. But all it takes is one idiot, to ruin a good time, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And to go from ragging to crossing the line and, a mob scene or throwing something and hitting them or, throwing a punch or whatever.
I see what you're saying.
But there's such vile and hate for Lane Kiffin from so many of the Ole Miss side. That the scorn lover thing, but even beyond that I really they're going to have whatever security times 10. They cannot take it for granted. I would think LSU's not going to take it for granted. They're going to try to bring as many of their own state troopers and things like that as possible. But it's good. I think it's going to be really bad. I think Lane Kiffin is going to be. Do
they need to put him in a bubble?
They are gonna just go. They are gonna go nuts from the second that dude walks out an hour and a half before game time to just walk around the field. The minute that there's anybody in that stadium, they're gonna lose their mind until the game's over.
Yeah, well, I definitely see what you're saying, and I hope we don't get too much ugliness. I mean, it's one thing to boo and cheer and harass and all that, but let's hope nobody crosses the line. But like you said, all it takes is one idiot or a couple of idiots, and it'll get really bad.
And also the tailgating stuff. I mean, like last year, I can remember, the tailgating stuff that was going on outside, especially in the Grove. There's a couple. Most of the time it was pretty cool, but there were some spots in the Grove that were a little intense, obviously with the fraternities and stuff. I mean, there's, with the LSU fans when you'd walk by and stuff, the things that they would say. I just think it's all going to get ratcheted up a tremendous amount.
Yeah, no, it definitely. I can see the picture you're painting being it, and let's hope it doesn't go over the line. I'll just leave it at that right there. But hey, look, it's going to be a lot of fun with college football. I mean, the Raging Cajuns, Magnesia Cowboys, Southeastern. Is expected to be picked number 1 in the Southland Conference, and this, that, and the other. One other thing, Ryan, before we go to break, that you and I hadn't talked about yet. Near and dear to me and kind of to you. Back on July 1, the UNO Privateers became the LSUNO Privateers, and they changed their color scheme to purple and gold so they could sell some merch, I guess. But it's now the LSUNO Privateers in New Orleans going to wear purple and gold, not that blue and silver that I grew up watching them playing against them. You were a bat boy for the legend Ron Maestri at UNO. So a little shift in gears there.
They had the LSU UNO coaches, baseball coaches, came to a game the other night. Not last night's game, but the one before. They were in the stands wearing their new polos. They had their new LSU UNO polos. It's the same privateer logo, just everything's made purple and gold. And I think it's going to be a little weird. My dad, by the way, was a UNO grad. He got his undergrad degree at UNO. It's going to be a little weird for UNO fans, but there's only 10 of them. So it doesn't matter, right? But I mean, the reality is this is the best thing that's ever happened for UNO. It's now people are now talking about UNO where they weren't 2 years ago. They are a hot brand. They are going to sell some merch. Falling under the LSU system gives them some monies and some leadership and direction to keep that school afloat. I think this is going to be a great thing for UNO, no question about it. All right, we will take a break. We're over here at the Bruley Walk-Ons. He's Tommy Krysan. I'm Ronnie Rantz. Appreciate you listening. Whether you are in Lake Charles, Lafayette, or Baton Rouge, we'll take a break. Be back. Final segment of Sports Shorts right after this.
This is Sports Shorts Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Ronnie Rantz here with you alongside TK over at the Bruley Walk-Ons. If you are a fan of boxing, tonight we got some boxing over at LeBear's Casino where I will be. And it makes sense since we're over here on the west side, just 10 minutes away from Plaquemine, that we mentioned Eric Babyface Assassin Walker. Eric Walker from Plaquemine, who is going to be the main event. Babyface, as he's called, is his nickname. He has not fought in like 3 or 4 years, but he's making his return to the ring tonight in the main event, 6-round main event over at L'Auberge Casino. Doors open at 6. Fights get underway at 7 o'clock. There are some standing room only seats and whatnot available through Ticketmaster.com. It's going to be a sold out event, I'm sure. He was 20-4 as a professional boxer. He did 13 years of incarceration. He picked up the sport in jail, fought in the Louisiana boxing league that, you know, a lot of the prisons in Louisiana have boxing teams, and they have an actual league, and they worked on his skills there, got out, became a pro, and 20-4. Most famously, he had the upset of undefeated Chris Pearson in Las Vegas back on the TV show called The Contender, which was on Epix. That was Sugar Ray Leonard's show that he was involved in. And so he ended up, losing about 4 years ago and had an injury, and he ended up getting surgery, and now he's back and making his return. A lot of folks excited here on the West Side. And if you're into boxing in Louisiana, you know the name Eric Babyface the Assassin Walker, and he's going to be fighting tonight. I'll be there as well. I think 6 fights on tap.
That's in the event center
at the event
L'Auberge?
center at L'Auberge Casino in Baton Rouge, where there is no bad seat. You get in that room. It's great.
I love that venue.
Yeah. So I'll be there tonight for that. Looking forward to it. And then Casey McKenzie, his Titan Combat Championship Series, they're doing an event there first Saturday in August, second Saturday in August, I think August 7th. Or Friday, excuse me, on the 7th. They're doing MMA once again, and he always does a great job, and the events are sold out. But his main event is bare knuckle. He has a bare knuckle fight. It's a bare knuckle fight. Now they do have a little bit of a wrap on their hand, and it gets inspected, it gets checked. You can't, but it's, for the most part, it's bare knuckles. They can have a wrap on their hand a little bit, but the knuckles are bare, and usually those fights don't last too long, Tommy.
I would imagine. That would be my guess on that.
And it's not as gruesome as you think. Actually, in boxing, they bleed more. People bleed more in boxing than they do in bare knuckle. I know that's hard to believe, but
does it tear up the knuckles?
Like
if I punched you in the jaw, my hand's not going to feel good.
Yeah,
right?
no, they'll do like a little wrap on it, but yeah,
like a little thin film or something.
But there's not if you catch somebody good with a bare knuckle, it's fight over.
Yeah.
Versus in boxing, it
you
made
can
me
shake it off.
Right.
Yeah, you get up before the
I
chest
saw
count.
a bare knuckle fight in Metairie at the Pontchartrain Center about a year ago or so. It lasted 11 seconds.
Yeah, I saw a
guy
few.
swung, the guy ducked, the guy came over the top, bam, night.
I saw a few bare knuckle fights out at the lakefront. We were in high school, and somebody didn't like what somebody else said from Holy Cross Jesuit or Brother Martin or whatever. But anyway, all right, Ron, as we wrapping it up here at the Bruley Walk-Ons, get in here. This place is great.
By the way, speaking of Bruley, Holy Cross and all them, Jeff Curtis, the head baseball coach at John Curtis High School, he took Team Louisiana to the National High School Baseball Championship Series. It was a an all-star team, if you will, and they made it all the way to the semis. They lost to Florida 5-1 in the semis. Jeff, his brother Johnny, his nephew was also coaching, so it was a family affair, as all Curtis things are. And then, but Kansas won the national championship. They upset Florida. Florida had a shortstop signing with LSU, center fielder with Florida. On paper, Florida was the better team, but Kansas, with a young pitcher, only going to be a junior in high school this year, threw a complete game, shut down Team Florida, who was coached by assistant coach was Craig Faulkner, former LSU assistant coach.
Played with you? Didn't Craig play with you?
No, he's older than me, but he was a catcher for Skip Bertman's first 4 teams, and a great guy, great coach, won 6 state championships over in Florida. But Kansas is your national champion.
There you go. Yeah,
some new blood.
I followed that because I knew you had a part of it, and that's good. Great for Louisiana. If you get invited to play Team Louisiana next year, you got to do it.
Yeah. All right. So come on out tomorrow night to the Baton Rouge Rougarou game. 7 o'clock start against the Acadiana Cane Cutters. If you're in the Lafayette area, go check out the Cane Cutters. They're hosting the Rougarou tonight at 7 o'clock at Faubacker Field. And then don't forget, Wednesday, Rougarou are back at home as well. They'll have the Gator Girls from Lake Charles performing. They'll have the William Schmidt, former LSU Tiger pitcher, will also be there, signing autographs from 6 to 7. For Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rantz. Thanks for listening. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week on Sports Shorts.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to